So to open this video, we're going to do something a little bit fun because I usually hand create most of my dad jokes, usually some heavy inspiration. But I did look up dragon dad jokes just based on there being a really cool lead from a trial dragon boss. And this is why I can't use what's on the internet, because this is the #1 dragon dad joke to ignite your humor. Why don't dragons ever tell secrets? Because they're always afraid of getting caught in a firestorm. That's the #1. What's going on, YouTube? It's Tuesday, which means we have our Tuesday vendor refresh. Now, every Tuesday from 10 a.m. to next Tuesday at 10 a.m., you have the ability to go to these 3 vendors to get a rotational assortment of items. We start inside the Infinite Archive, inside of Apocrypha. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and let's jump into it. And we start with the Gold Mandibular Cradle. Now, somebody's going to tell me I pronounced that wrong. Probably did. But it's from the Velothi Amulet. Now, that's a pretty banger mythic. However, this one just comes from a Delve boss, so probably not one that you need to purchase. And just to be clear, anytime I'm recommending a lead to you to purchase, it needs to be 2 things. It needs to be a good mythic, and it needs to come from somewhere that's considered somewhat difficult or annoying. Daily quests, chests, really annoying public dungeons or trials, things like that. A Delve boss, not something you need to consider, even though the Velothi Amulet is a juicer magooser of a mythic. Next up is a Shipbuilder's Crafting Station, which does look pretty cool, all things considered, but this one comes from End Bosses and Way West Sewers too. Not something that the majority of people are going to be farming very often, but it is decently farmed just because of the sets that come from Way West Sewers too. So overall, like if you wanted to go out and farm this, it's going to be relatively easy, and you guys can see a picture here. It's a decently cool looking one, so it's something you might want to put in your house. And then if you own this, you then also don't have to go and buy your own crafting station, because you'll have a crafting station for a woodworking station, so you already got one. Next up, we have the Marsalok shoulder. You can see I'm modeling it here for you. It's kind of like a dragon scaly type thing. Got a Monster Hunter vibes, if I'm being honest. It does actually have a decent value, even with it being listed for Archival Fortunes, which again makes it unsellable. So you're just buying this to not buy it from a player. It still has like 500,000 to 600,000 gold in value. A little bit less on console. These are PC prices, but these are pretty high for a shoulder, which I'm kind of surprised by, because usually you can look at a shoulder and be like, oh, you know, that's going to look really cool on most characters, therefore it's going to be worth a lot. Here I'm like, I guess, you know, but just food for thought. Same with our items down here. We have ourselves the Halulu Desk. This is only worth 37,000 gold. Even though you could say, Jake, 2,000 Archival Fortunes to an average value of 37,000 is not bad. You are correct, it's not bad, but I wouldn't necessarily be running to the Archival Fortune vendor to get this, because even this Wood Elf Fish Dish, I mean, this is 12,000. I mean, 2,000 Archival Fortunes, saving yourself 12,000 gold. Sure. But then you get the items like the Dwarven Table Grand Polish. But again, too, you can see the range, 18,000 to 150,000. You can easily snipe these items for a lot lower over time. So unless you plan to really, make a whole bunch of these Dwarven tables, even though the value is there, I don't necessarily recommend it for most people unless you are a big-time crafter, you love selling furnishing items, or something along those lines. Or you're just like, Jake, I'm going to put 1,000 Dwarven tables in my house, which there are items that people will do that with. Then it's a situation where you might want to purchase it. For the average player, I wouldn't necessarily correlate the value of the item with the correlation of the value of your Archival Fortunes quite that easily. Just think, what might you do with an item once you purchase it? Next up, we have Blackwood Treasure Maps, which unfortunately a lot of people are like really doing crazy value with right now. Some people are like 3,000, 5,000, 11,000, 1,000. 1.6 thousand. So honestly, I mean, I like Blackwood Treasure Maps. They have decent drop rates, but everybody just seems to be dumping the maps. And honestly, I mean, if you could get them are really cheap, I would honestly go and excavate them. But probably not something you're going to convert your Archival Fortunes into. But there are good leads and things that drop from them. The set gear from that zone is relatively decent, and you always have a chance to get other good items too, like companion gear. So not a bad guess. Medium armor is probably one of the worst ones to gamble on. DPS gear notoriously doesn't sell very well in the market, therefore you could just go and buy it. So don't spend Archival Fortunes on something that is the cheapest version of this item. Skip this. Then we have our 2 books, A Feast Among the Dead Chapter 3, which really deserves a cooler cover considering how banger of a title that is, and Working in the Infinite Panopticon. I'm reading these live. Don't judge me. The book cover does look a little bit more unique on this one, but still, I don't know what to tell you here. Then we have our scripts. We have Force, Heroism, Mitigation, Cavalier's Charge. Yes, these are all good scripts. Force is nice, although you can get it from 1,000 places. Heroism is nice. That's just a really good script to have. Mitigation is okay. Cavalier's Charge is okay. Depending on how you're building, you may use those too. But don't buy these. Just do your daily quests. It's been out long enough. I know a lot of people got scribing for the first time. We have a second vendor that we go over here where you can buy these with gold. Those are the ones that you want to focus your attention on. Next up, we have the Fragment of the Exarch. Now, this one is for the Silver Bolts Fragment, but it just normally drops from a world boss. So as long as you have the Greymoor DLC, you don't really need this. But if you don't have the Greymoor DLC, and for some reason you have the Stonefalls DLC, you can actually go and get all of the rest of this without having to have the DLC. Maybe that's something you want to consider, but overall, it's a pretty easy skip in my opinion. Same with Sigil Globe. Don't buy this. It's worth like 4,000 gold. I don't know why these are an option to go get. And then the unreliable archival map we talked about 50,000 bajillion times. It's an infinite archive thing. It gives you the Shattered Mirror maze marks. They don't look good. They're not helpful. Don't even worry about it. And so if you're new to scribing, this is the one that you want to go to. The Chronicler inside the Scholarium, which is inside of Ivea. This is the place to go. You talk to this bad man Majama, and now you can buy scripts for gold. He's got Evasion, Shock Damage, Assassin's Mastery, and Class Mastery. So Class Mastery is one that's static. Assassin's Misery is okay, but Shock Damage is probably the one that most people are going to look at. Evasion is certainly fine, but I don't think it's as utilized across most swaths of content as Shock Damage, but it's cheap. So if you get it again as a duplicate, you just sell it back for 1,000 gold. So I generally recommend buying all of these except Class Mastery, which does require you to already have the achievement unlocked, so you have to have all the Class Mastery scripts. Get these other ones, though, in my opinion. They're good. They're a bit niche, but it's probably one that you may use in the future, especially for all those people who are new to scribing. This is the one to go to. And finally, we find ourselves in the Imperial City. If you ever need any additional help about knowing more about these vendors, we've condensed these videos. We have ESOhelper.com in the description below that you can go to and get additional information about these bad man pajamas. We have ourselves a cute cat who decided to jump up for the Imperial City vendor because she knows that we're about to have a juicer magooser here. We do start, though, with the Indomitable Fury necklace. Unfortunately, the only Fury that you will be feeling in this is the Fury of Defeat, because after breaking free, you gain minor protection and minor heroism, which does give you a damage reduction and generating ultimate. But as we looked at earlier, you could already get those through scripts. You can already get those through thousands of other places. Using a full 5-piece set that just gives you mag, and stam recovery would be a horrible decision. This is literally a 3.5 or 4 out of 10 on the Jakeclips scale of decent sets. You would get better value wearing a random set for any type of content that's giving you a 5-piece that does something, because your skills are going to give you what this is giving you, and everything else it gives you is just weird. Magicka and stam recovery in the same set. Next up, we have the Reactive Necklace. Now, a lot of people used to suggest this for new players getting into Cyrodiil. I don't like doing that. I don't think your goal as a new player is to just not die in Cyrodiil or Imperial City or Battlegrounds, because you also need to kill other people. If you're just sitting there taking damage, eventually you're going to die anyway. So what this does is after you're affected by a disabling effect, your damage taken is reduced by 33% for 5 seconds, but this can only occur once every 20 seconds. So you've got fine-ish uptime, considering it is a 33% damage reduction. It is only 5 seconds. You got 5 seconds, basically, to make or break, and it's like, do you use that time to kill them, restore your resources? Like, this set doesn't synergize well, in my opinion, with what PvP looks like in 2025. A lot of people have recommended it. I don't like it. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It's bang average, in my opinion. Some people would argue it's a 6 or a 7. You could build a above average or a good set build with this. I just think if you're looking at this set, it requires you to have a disabling effect to get the damage reduction. So you have to have the opponent do something to you to get any sort of value from it. And I hate proc sets like that generally, because it requires your opponent to do something before your sets even give you any value. Now we have the lead that everybody and their mom has been looking for. It is one of the most annoying leads to get, probably the most annoying lead to get. Comment below if there's a more annoying Mythic lead. But it is from the Void Mantle Nightwing Vestigue, and this one comes from MOL, the trial, but it does come from the first boss, and it's a trial lead. And a lot of people hate trial leads, rightfully so. They're very annoying, and when you get it on the first one, it's kind of frustrating because then it's like, you got to farm the whole rest of the rigmarole, and everybody who got it, but most people still want to finish the trial. Like, there's not very many people who are like, guys, let's just go farm the first trial boss, unfortunately, in the group finder. But what it does is reduce the damage of your light attacks by 50%, but then dealing damage with a light attack restores quite a few resources, depending on your equipped weapon type. So it's either magic or stamina. Gain additional resources when damaging an enemy that's off balance, and less resources when damaging a blocking enemy. Increase the damage of your heavy attacks by 50%, but your heavy attacks no longer restore resources. I actually love this Mythic. I don't know where I rate this Mythic specifically, because it's kind of unique in the sense that it's changing your playstyle pretty significantly. Being able to restore quite a few resources with light and heavy attacks is just very cool. And then being able to increase the damage of your heavy attacks by 50%, but then you no longer get resources back from heavy attacks is also really cool. I struggle to see if this is better for PvP or PvE, but all that to say, it's really good. Like, especially if you want a heavy attack build that doesn't use Oaken Soul, and you want to be able to deal damage but also have good sustain, and you don't want to run a sustain set for solo content, you want to try to do something that gives you a little more bulk. Maybe you're running, Veteran Bait Strand and you're struggling with taking damage. This is the perfect Mythic for you, because now you have the sustain and the damage wrapped up into the same Mythic. So, to me, this is a must-purchase Mythic must-purchase lead if you want this Mythic. It will save you significant farming time, and 25k TLDR isn't cheap by any stretch of the imaginations, but when it comes to running trials with randoms, it'll save you a lot. Next up, we have the Steam Guards. Now, thankfully, this is just the Delve Boss one, or maybe not thankfully. Maybe some of you guys want to spend 50k TLDR, this week, but this is one that just comes from the Alakir Desert Delve Boss, and not one that you need to purchase. But the actual Steam Guards are a pretty cool Mythic, in my opinion, but the rest is an easy skip, including Cold Harbor Treasure Maps. Yes, I love some of the sets that drop from there, but there's nothing else good that drops from there besides just decent-ish set armor. Not enough to justify 6,000 TLDR. Then we have the rings of the sets that we talked about above, and then we get down to the scripts, and you might be tempted. You're like, Jake, Berserk. I want to be a Berserker. I want to be protected. I want to taunt. Anchorite's Cruelty. All the cool kids say that's a really cool one. TLDR, I would not spend TLDR to get scripts. Do your daily quests, especially whenever the Solstice is out, right? Go do your Solstice daily quests, or level up your companion by doing guild daily quests, because there's literally a golden pursuit for it. Or go to Cyrodiil and do those daily quests, or do the Battlegrounds daily quests, or open Rewards of the Worthy are going to be dropping like hotcakes this Friday, or Thursday, excuse me. When that happens, you're going to be getting scripts out the wazoo. You don't need to spend your TLDR on them. So even though these might be tempting, unless you are desperate to run these specific scripts for that PvP event, don't purchase these ones. And we actually wrap up on the Fragment of Sunspire. Now, this actually gives you a really cool looking skill style. You can see it looks dope. Obviously, Puncture is a pretty popularly used skill. Kind of specific though. It's one that you're definitely gonna, obviously find yourself using if you're doing more tanking-esque content versus just running around all wimbly-bimbly like I do. And you could see most of it's relatively straightforward. City of Ash, Cauldron are probably, kind of annoying, but then Volcanic Vents, group event boss, a normal delve boss, but then you have to run Sunspire. Now, Sunspire is not nearly as hard as people make it out to be. Sunspire is one of the easier trials to complete. So 50k TLDR is a lot, but I know a lot of you guys prefer to be solo, you like solo content, and if that's the case, you might never see yourself running any sort of trial content, and if you really want to have a cool looking skill style, it is not ridiculous to advocate to purchase this for TLDR, especially because you can farm TLDR solo, can't farm Sunspire solo. But I would encourage players to run Sunspire because it's one of the more forgiving trials when it comes to mechanics. It's very fun, it feels very rewarding, it's very cool, you're killing dragons, not some ugly slug Like, to me, Sunspire is the perfect ESO trial encapsulated into one. It's got cool hard mode mechanics. It's got good veteran mechanics. But it's not overtly difficult or challenging. It's not overtly long. So I love Sunspire. So to me, I would encourage you guys to go and farm it, but I do understand there will be some of you that would rather just purchase an item like this versus going and farming Sunspire, and that's totally okay. So everyone, thank you guys so much again for watching. We have two really good options here. We basically have two trial drops. Now, Sunspire is a lot easier. I would encourage you guys to do that one, but I totally recognize not very many people will want to do that, and that is totally okay. I would also consider the shock damage script if you're new, but the Nightwing Mythic, or lead rather, is going to be one that I would really encourage you to get. You may regret not doing it because the trial itself is relatively annoying to run with random people. Not very many people are running it super consistently these days, so probably one that would be good to purchase for 25k TLDR, which really only amounts to the value of like 100 to 200k gold on console. If you said, Jake, would you rather, want to run a trial multiple times or spend 100 to 200k gold? I'd be spending more than that, amount of gold than versus sitting and running a trial like that requires thumbs and people communicating. So it's up to you. I would, though, however, encourage you to do Sunspire again because it's just super fun. So those are the items that I would consider: shock damage, the trial fragment, as well as the trial mythic. Some of the other furnishing items are certainly unique, and that's up to you. But thank you guys so much again for watching. We recorded this on my late break in the day because today was a little bit busier. So thank you so much again for watching. As always, we're doing our quick 3 giveaway drawings. Be subscribed, leave a like and a comment on the video, and look for a hidden word be flashed upon the screen. If you're the first person to find and comment that word, you will win. Have a fantastic Tuesday, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.